The ways in which we block ourselves from our own success can be multifold. It is not always the case that the blockage is a limiting belief or a limiting emotion such as guilt, shame, or fear. Sometimes it can be an entirely different thing. Sometimes the issue that blocks us from our success is an intimacy issue. This is also related to the emotion of fear. So if you experience such an avoidant pattern, this also has to do with a certain emotion. But the problem here is not that it is your own fear that prevents you from taking action, necessarily. Maybe you are someone who is very courageous. Maybe you are someone who takes risks and who forces himself into new interactions, into new situations, and to try to aim for those things that are important to you. But every time that your success finally materializes, when it is just about signing the contract, when it is about making that commitment, when it is about revealing more about yourself, in those situations, you just cramp, you just leave the room, or you self-sabotage. People who are like this are oftentimes very freedom-loving. They love and enjoy their own individuality, and they don't want to feel that restriction by other people. They, on the one hand, even if they seek closeness with others, on the other hand, they often just feel overwhelmed by too much contact, by conversations that are too deep. And something else that plays a key role here is that oftentimes such people think that they are actually revealing more about themselves. They are actually sharing things about themselves, and they admit mistakes. What most people don't see is that those things are actually also often not very intimate, because those mistakes that they seem to admit are just things that don't really hurt them, or the way in which they admit this mistake is just a very mental, abstract way of admitting it. And by doing so, they circumvent the actual emotion that one normally would experience by just saying sorry, explaining something, or also admitting certain flaws and certain edges about their character. And it is very true, society judges people when they admit a mistake. And oftentimes these labels that someone admits are not even fully accurate. For example, if someone is diagnosed with ADHD, they might know that this is actually still something that doesn't define them, and it is something that society understands mostly wrong. But these things are not always very big necessarily. Sometimes it's just about telling someone what you're interested in, what your hobbies are, and just revealing certain things about yourself that could make you attackable by a random person. And let's be honest, most normal people, they have gathered so many limiting frameworks that they attack anyone who doesn't match that scheme. And a lot of people, especially in our modern society, are compensating for a lot of their weaknesses and therefore buy into certain frameworks that they find in different groups that they belong to emotionally, that they identify with. And whenever someone identifies with a specific group, they stop caring and looking at things in a more objective way. But what they do instead is that they just act from this state of groupthink. So the biggest protection mechanism that those people use who have a strong fear toward intimacy is that they escape in this world of the abstract, in this mental realm. And by doing so, they remove from their physical perception, from their senses, they withdraw from that, and instead they go within and they shift their senses inward. This is also what creates strong desires in them, because desires are something that is more abstract, something that you can actually not find anywhere. Certain dreams, certain dream worlds. And this is exactly what happens with someone who grew up in an environment in which it was very difficult to express themselves fully. And what happens then is that they project all those things that they would like to express and to experience within the outer world now inward. And by doing so, their creativity becomes very strong. So this is actually a very strong trait of those people. So it's not all bad. So how to solve all of this? What you have to understand is that needs are something that is very concrete. Needs are connected to our senses. And desires are something very abstract. They are connected to our inner world. And in order to actually fulfill our desires, they have to become needs. They have to become concrete. We have to define them. And we can only do this by becoming more concrete ourselves, by showing our edges, by taking pictures of ourselves and posting them, if those things are not too shameful, of course, or by just reading a book that has a topic that other people reading would feel shameful about in public, or doing certain things, singing a song in front of other people, doing certain things that increase your self-expression and this ability to express oneself. And by doing so, you build genuine, authentic confidence that enables you to withstand all those things that other people might feel very uncomfortable with. By doing so, you master these kind of situations in which a commitment is involved, in which it is about revealing certain things about yourself in a more concrete way, not just in an abstract way that prevents you from feeling the emotions involved, or any regards that is about business, selling something, signing a business deal, or letting someone sign a business deal, or just seeking a conversation with another person and talking about topics that are more intimate, not only deep and abstract, but actually also intimate topics. And which means that you have to use certain labels that make you attackable, or certain matters that have to deal with relationships when it comes to these topics. In all of these things, intimacy is crucial. And in order to experience that, you have to connect your heart and your mind. Our mind are those parts that we usually project outwards and that we associate more with the masculine, and our heart are those parts that we can also find around ourselves that we feel more emotionally, that we would associate more with the feminine, those things that connect ourselves with other people. So if you want to solve and to fix this final issue that prevents you from experiencing genuine relationships and building genuine connections, then you really have to go all into self-expression. Speak what is important to you, speak your truth, engage with other people, dare to enter a romantic relationship when it feels right. And also do all the other things that are important to you. Build a business. Dare to do things that most people don't dare to do. And if you make this, if you follow this advice, you will see how you grow continuously and how this fear really becomes smaller and smaller, and how you become able to understand that freedom is not only about choosing or being able to choose what you want, it is also being able to commit to it and to actually experience what you want to experience. So if this video helped you, just give this video a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button to support me and this channel. Bye.